Hey guys, welcome back to the Everything Communication Podcast, episode 16. Crazy times. I'm actually not with you guys for long today. It seems like I'm always in a rush these days. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if you guys relate to that as well, where it's like the time is just flying by. To be fair, I've started a new project recently, and that's just been eating my time because it's been quite busy and brain power heavy as well. So having to think a lot on that, and then to be able to code switch into coaching as well, and just think about the businesses I'm running, how to make everything kind of work. Remember updates. I even just remembered right now as I'm speaking to you guys that I actually need to message back my aunt about a magazine thing that she's gonna be posting and releasing soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. You guys heard it here first. For real. Just took a note of that. Literally. Sometimes it's why it's good to just speak out loud and actually just have a conversation with someone, because you get way more out. You give your brain a lot more of a chance to actually finish a thought. I find so often when I speak to people, and this is a problem that a lot of my clients have as well, right? That they will start thinking about something, and then because it's in their head, it gets jumbled up with all the other thoughts as well. So they'll start one thought, and then another thought will just come down into or from nowhere. And so this thought will now take precedence, and this thought will be the one that gets continued. And then this first original thought, it doesn't ever get to the end position. And so it might be, let's say we have a thought, right? And of every thought leads to action. So there's actually a psychology mechanism, tool, thing, whatever you want to call it, called the think, feel, act loop, right? It's very well known. Recommend to look it up. And essentially what it states is our thoughts will be the starting point. They lead to our feelings, and that will lead to our actions, right? So if I am thinking, I'll use a very simple example. If I start thinking about cake, then all of a sudden I start to feel hungry, or I start to feel for something sweet, a sweet treat. And then to satisfy that desire, to satisfy that feeling, I go to the shop, I go buy cake and custard. Right. So I had a thought initially that led to a feeling, and then that spurred me, that pushed me to go and take action. And what happens a lot of the time with those of us, particularly those of us who are neurodiverse, is we'll have thoughts that start, but they won't get to the feelings or action part because we don't fully let them process. And because there's so many things in our head running around, it's like a bunch of thoughts that that just have broken cycles. And so something that's actually really helpful for this is, as I said, speaking out loud. So sorry, guys. Speaking out loud to someone else, speaking out loud to yourself as well. That works. But also writing things down, because all three of those things, what they essentially do is slow your brain down so you're able to start finishing your thoughts, because that loop is now going at a slow pace, right? And essentially, a lot of the thoughts that have been broken, they haven't been able to be finished because they've been going at too fast of a pace. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me just turn this music off. Actually, it might be quite nice. I don't know. Maybe we'll try it. We'll test it. Let's see it for this one, right? And see what it's like. That's actually not what I want to speak to you guys today about, though, at all. This is so ironically a thought that had just come into my mind. And so I had to let that thought finish its cycle, right? I had to take action and actually explain that, break that down for you guys before it left me. The thing I actually want to speak to you guys about today is the importance of keeping it simple. Just keep it simple. Now, when I say that, there's a lot of people when it comes to the way that they speak, their communication skills, that they will think to sound better, to sound more professional, to sound more smart, they need to use complicated words. Now, part of this isn't your fault. It's not. Right? We're taught from so young that to get better marks in our English papers, that we need to use more big words, more words that are going to cause someone to scratch their head and be like, bro, what the heck does that even mean? Right? But it's really only when you're able to use simple words to explain something that you want to get someone to understand that you actually understand it. It sounds really ironic, right? When you're using simple, small words, it means you understand it more. But then when you're using big, complicated, elaborate words, it means you understand it less. But the reality of this is, to be better understood, and as a speaker especially, you want to cater to more people than just one. When you have a large audience, you want to make sure the best way that you serve them is by firstly speaking their language and by firstly catering to a large group of people, right? If you're creating content online, or if you're in a room and you're presenting to, let's say, even 50 people, each one of those people are going to have a different level of understanding, of comprehension, both about your subject that you're speaking about, but also just English as well. If you start using really complicated, large words, there's only going to be a certain amount of people that actually understand, firstly, those words, and secondly, those words in the context of what you're speaking about. But if you were to drop the level of what you're speaking as, of where you're speaking at, it's been a long day, guys. Bear with me. Then all of a sudden, you open up the room because more people are able to understand you, because more people are likely to be at a reading level 5 than a reading level 7. And so quite simply, by being able to break things down, you allow more people to take in what you're saying. And so if it's something that you're selling, all of a sudden, you have a wider pool of people that could actually buy from you because they understand what you're saying. If you're trying to deliver a message at work, in a presentation, whatever it might be, again, you have a wider pool of people who are able to now take your side, who are able to now understand what you're saying because you're speaking a language that they get. And so this is quite simple. You'll start to see this now as you look out for it in so many other massive businesses as well, in the way that they market and the way that they communicate their messages and the way that they try and get across different language to people. They'll try and keep it simple. The ones that do well, the ones that actually go far, they'll keep it as simple as possible. And so for you, if you want to be better understood, if you want to make sure that people actually take in what you're saying, you need to just dumb it down. Keep it simple. Short one but sweet this week. I will see you guys next week on episode 17 of the Everything Communication Podcast. Take care.